I'm going to share a little something with you this morning. I've lived right here in western North Carolina my whole life. My family has been in western North Carolina for well over 200 years. I come from a long line of what a lot of folk call hillbillies. We were poor old mountain folk. We made a living scratching out of these hills. We've survived a lot and seen a lot. But the old timers, one thing about them, they didn't trust the government. Because when I was growing up, I was raised by my great-grandmother. She was born in 1901, grew up right here. And she would tell you straight up and down, if they're from the government, whether it's federal or local, they're not to be trusted. Because see, give you a little reason why. Think about all the man-made lakes here in western North Carolina. Think about Smoky National Park or Cage Cove. All of you know where that is. And them cabins you go and look at and all over how people lived back then. I want you to stop and think about the people that lived there. Think about the towns underwater. Them people really didn't have a choice about that. Government walked in and said, we're going to build a lake here. We're going to build a national park here. Y'all's got to go. Here's what we're going to give you for the land. They didn't have no choice about that. It ain't like they could say, no, you're not. I'm not selling you my land. Because if it did, they just took it. And see, when the banks crashed, folks here in Appalachia didn't have a lot of money to start with. But what little they had, the ones that had in the bank lost it. My whole life, my grandfather never once put a dime in a bank. He buried his cash in a jar, and he buried it in the backyard. Because he didn't trust the banks to have his money safe. And a lot of people now laugh about the way Appalachian folks were. And the few of us that still live like the old timers did. They poke fun at us because we don't trust outside people. But see, that's the reason why. But I think the younger generation now is gonna, they're getting a taste of what the old timers saw and how they learned not to trust the government. Because we're watching it play out right here in western North Carolina, right in front of our eyes. Don't see a lot of help coming from the government. $750, what good's that going to do? For one, you can't spend any of that money. There ain't no stores to buy nothing in. They can't eat the money. We need food, water, they need shelters. Why, there's hotels that they can't take survivors to because the government's got their people housed in it. Government's coming in here and taking supplies that's been donated and taking control of it because we're not allowed to help nobody. So the next time you go to make fun of us Appalachian folk for not trusting outsiders, well, remember, the government ain't been fair to us at all. We learned to survive on our own. That's why back in the day, people trusted on the neighbor. They helped one another because they knew nobody was out from the outside was going to help them. So anyhow, y'all, I hope y'all continue to pray for all those affected by this storm. And as always, I'll holler at you later.